welcome to the Big Idea Show and welcome Kevin Daly.
Good morning, Lou. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
It's lovely to see you again. I haven't seen you for a while, and I do remember when you were my guest, in fact.
Yes.
Yeah, so the roles have been reversed, so...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love getting people back on who have given me an opportunity to share my story, to give you an opportunity to share yours. And today we're going to be talking about giving back to grassroots, aren't we? And specifically in your case, sports.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about that after this track. So welcome, Kevin.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you. So nice to see you again after this a little absence. But,
yes, definitely.
Good.
Like we said, roles reversed.
Yes.
And I thought it was a wonderful opportunity because I wanted to get you on because you kind of gave me one of my first opportunities to kind of get my message out there because you invited me on the radio when I was doing 100 sports in 100 days.
Yes, you did. You was on my radar.
Yes.
And I was so pleased when you came in, and I was so in awe of what you did for sport, and I wanted to pass that message on to the people of Folkestone.
Oh,
and so, yeah, that was a great journey. Yeah, it really was. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it gave me, I think, being like you, kind of being so enthusiastic, gave me that thing of like that recognition. Was like, wow, okay, people are listening and hopefully getting value from it.
Oh, that's great.
So
yeah.
that's
nice to know. Yes.
Thank you. But we're not going to talk about that.
No, it's all about me today.
Yeah. All about you. So I know you like interviewing others, hearing their stories.
Yeah, this is a bit strange for me today being interviewed because over the years I've interviewed people at races and events, and it just seems a bit funny being on the other end of it.
Yeah.
But far away.
Okay.
Do your best.
Okay, so we're going to have quick fire questions shortly, but first, for anyone who doesn't know you, you're a voluntary sports presenter, aren't you?
Yes.
And people will probably know you if they've done any of the following: Race for Life, Man on a Run, Cliff Top Challenge, a 5, a 10k, a half marathon, locally, Pretty Muddy, any of those plus more. You probably would have been the comment.
You're right. I probably would have been there. Yes, yeah, yeah. It's something that's grown over the years. I didn't really set out to be so busy in my old age. I should be retired by now, but the way things have gone, it's just there's so much fun out there, encouraging people to do their sport, and the background, especially the Sportsferret show, which was I absolutely loved doing that. It was bringing unsung heroes and underdogs to Folkestone and encouraging people to get out there and do sport. It really kept me going.
Yeah.
It was such a nice thing. I had my sporty time. I was running for a very long time. I played football to a ripe old age, and there comes a time when you want to, your body doesn't give up, but it just can't carry on at the same momentum. So it's time not just to turn your back on sport, but it was time for me to turn around and give something back.
Yeah.
And my two passions really, football and running. I've now presenting events at weekends for running clubs, for various event companies. I'm still involved with Folkestone Invicta. Not all the time, but when I can, I get down there and I'm on the PA system down there.
Yeah.
So introducing the players, watching the game. It's a very focused way of watching the game because you're watching it almost from behind the lens of a camera. You've got to focus on the players. Technically, if the goal goes in, you want to cheer your head off, but you also want to know who scored the goal and what time it was, so you can give it out. So yeah, there's lots of aspects of sport that I get involved with without having to sort of do press-ups and things like that anymore.
Yeah. Definitely. And I really like, we're this is going out in December, filming it slightly before, but it's going out in December, and I like the idea people will be thinking about their New Year's resolutions.
Yes.
So you might inspire them with some of that, but also December's a nice time for taking stock of what you've done in the year and being thankful and kind of, and that's why when you kind of mentioned, you said the words giving back, I was like, that's got to be the theme.
Yes.
Because that's what you've done in huge amounts. So those are the bits that I want to talk about more about, the giving back and kind of what inspires you to keep giving back so much.
Yeah.
But let's do quick fire questions first. I'll get to them. There we go.
What's she going to ask me now?
I know. So the theme's goals and growth mindset.
Goals? I've never scored a goal in my life. Go on then.
Okay. A silly or funny goal you had as a kid?
As a kid? I suppose it was like a lot of kids. I wanted to be probably a racing driver or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
like girls want to be nurses or vets, but I wanted to be a racing driver.
Okay.
I passed my test first time in those days. I had a career in engineering and motoring, which was very exciting. It was developing carburation and engines and stuff like that. But the racing driver dream never came true.
Oh. Racing in other ways.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your New Year's resolution or goal for 2019?
New Year's resolution? Well, they only last till about January the 2nd anyway, don't they?
Or goal in general for 19.
Well, to keep my flat a bit tidier, I think, but that doesn't last very long.
Yeah.
No,
Perfect
just
New Year's resolution then.
just to press on, and all the time that you can do things, that you're able to do it. I don't want to sit at home being, just watching the telly, pipe and slippers type of thing. All the time I can get out and do active stuff, then I will. That's probably another year. Let's keep going.
Another full diary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What's a pivotal success that you think had the biggest impact on you?
Pivotal success.
At any moment in your life.
I think the thing that was really emotional for me was when I actually walked from London to Brighton. It was 5 or 6 years ago, so it kind of, but it was an emotional journey. I remember seeing on Facebook this advert, if you like, popped up, walk 100k, 62 miles, and I thought, God, I'd never be able to do that. And then sadly, a couple of weeks later, a friend of mine passed away, and passed away from cancer, and that really shook me. And I thought, do you know what? 100k is not so bad. It's not so far. So I turned it around in my head, and I thought, I can do this. And it was one of the toughest challenges that I've ever done. I mean, I have run the London Marathon, but this was tougher.
Yeah.
And it took so long to train. My partner Sue would drop me off right out at the other end of the Royal Military Canal, and I would walk all the way back to Seabrook.
Yeah.
That in itself was like a challenge.
Yeah.
But that was only half of the journey. That was only 30 miles, and I had another 30 to go. But all the time, it's a mental battle as well. Thinking of my mate Fred, who passed away, and how he would love to swap places with me at this very moment. And just coming over the last leg, coming into Brighton, it was really emotional. It wasn't. I kind of cried my eyes out before I got to the line. I got all my crying done out of the way, and so that when I finished and crossed the line, I was in sort of the right frame of mind. But that was the biggest, toughest challenge I've ever done, certainly, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Next question, come on,
Sounds
move
good.
on.
Okay. What's a previous failure which you learnt the most from?
Oh dear. I've got so many that I wouldn't know where to start. Biggest failure? I don't know, 11 plus, cycling proficiency. I've failed them all. I don't know, I really don't know the answer to that one, Liu. I'd have to really sit down and think about that.
Yeah.
Biggest failure. Well, that's not a bad thing. It means I've had a few successes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you turn them around?
Yes, I think it's probably right. Things that
Yeah.
I have failed in, and we all have had failures in our life at some point of view. I've just tried to take stock, turn it around, turn a negative into a positive, really. Yeah.
I guess that's it, isn't it? Is if you've made it a learning, taken a learning from it, in our memory, it's not failure, it's not a big red cross. It's okay, it's a dip that I.
Yeah, that's right.
rise
Dips
from.
and troughs. Yeah.
Okay. What would you say is your key to success?
My key to success.
Yes.
Oh wow. Enthusiasm, really. If I stop getting enthusiastic about going to races, about comparing, about encouraging other people, then it'd be time to pack up. All the time I've got this enthusiasm. I've had my time. I've had my sporty time. It's now time to encourage others to come out of their shell, do stuff, and when that stops, then that'll be time for me to say, right, that's enough, Kevin. Hang the microphone up. But that's a long way off.
Yeah. I can't imagine then you not being enthusiastic about it. Okay. And final quickfire question: who would you like to say thank you for a lesson or support or advice that they gave you that really contributed to your kind of success in various ways?
Well, I suppose it's going back to my friend that passed away, Fred. I used to work with him years ago, and when we were both just kind of bench fitters, if you like. And he got into show business, and he was also a compere. He was a stand-up comic, to be fair. But we went from working on a bench together. He actually got as far as being a compere at the London Palladium.
Wow.
When Chaz and Dave were hitting the heights, and he was my biggest inspiration. And I suppose I always thought that if Fred can do it, so can I.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so that's the biggest, fondest memory I've got of my journey that I've made to this point now.
Awesome.
So did that answer your question,
Yes,
or did I sidetrack?
No,
I was
it's
getting
great. No, it's kind of less, I guess it's a role model.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Nice, good stuff. Okay, that's the quick fire questions done.
Okay.
Let's go back into our main discussion,
Right.
shall we? Which is around giving back.
Right.
And as I said at the beginning, this is my chance to give back to you for giving me that space. So I want to hear from you. Why is giving back so important? You put in so much time. Like you said, most weekends you're at a race. What is it about that you get from it and that you see others get that makes you want to do it?
Well, sport is mainstream sport on the telly is is very high flying, very professional. The guys that you see playing football and other sport, they're dedicated athletes. We're not all like that. We all would love to be like that. Excuse me. In the sport that I love, running, there are many people that train. They're never going to be fast. They're never going to be winning races. There are so many heroes out there that are raising money for charity via running that I like to think that we can make them heroes, make them feel good. Yeah. One of my serious ambitions at a race is to stay there until the last runner comes across the line. It might be, poor chap might have been out there for 3 hours, but if he's finishing that race, he's probably thinking, oh, they've all gone home by the time I get there. But no, I love to stay there and to encourage him across the line, make him feel special. And when we do Race for Life, there is normally, let's say, some mature ladies at the back that are just walking, or because it is ladies only, or there might be somebody with some form of disability where they can't walk so quick, and they probably think, oh, I'm going to be the last, there'd be nobody there. But what we do at Race for Life, I rustle up a crowd. We've got contact with the back marker, who's with the final runner, and then if there's people around, we encourage them to come over, and then we play some music. We get the banner, the ribbon.
Yep.
We get the ribbon out again,
yep.
And so that when they cross the line, it makes them feel like they're first.
Yep.
And there's always somebody, because that last runner, as I said, is just as important as the first runner. They come in. To be honest, sometimes they burst into tears, but it's making them feel special, and making them feel that they've done something worthwhile, so that they can go home, get back in the car, go home, sit down and think, you know what, I had a really great day today, and it was nice that I was acknowledged even though I came in last.
Yeah, that's awesome. So really championing the underdog. And
definitely, I love the underdog. I love the person that will try, never win anything, but deserves a mention.
Yeah.
Certainly. That was a big theme in the Sportsferret show, to find out all the sports people in the town. There's a lot of unsung heroes out there, people that have been secretaries or washing the kit for years, never get a mention. They were the people that I really targeted. I remember that, honestly, the best story ever that came through the Sportsferret doors was the Cheriton Bowls Club.
Yeah.
Right now, you imagine bowls, you think of, if you like, senior people in white outfits. But at Cheriton, there was this group of 4 girls. They were all in their teens, and they were making a real name for themselves. And one story, this very little shy girl, I said, how did you get into bowls? She said, well, I looked over the fence one day and saw them playing, and I thought, do you know what, I wouldn't mind having a go at that. And she plucked up the courage and asked people. And then she suddenly realised she had a real niche for this sport. And honestly, Liu, she went on to represent Kent and England as well.
Wow.
It was fantastic, you know.
That's
and she was such a shy little thing, you know.
Yeah.
But these 4 girls were championing the sport of bowls, and no one had heard of them. They'd never been in the papers. I picked up on it through a bowls colleague, and brought them into the show, made them feel special, took pictures of them, gave them copies of the recording, and they absolutely loved it, and so did I. I got a real buzz out of it, yeah.
Amazing. It must be really great to see and hear stories, and to give them that opportunity for people for whose sport has turned them round as a person.
Yes.
Be it, you know, throughout. I guess if you get into sport from a young age, it's hard to differentiate the difference, because you get those values. But when people maybe come into sport later on, or like you said, you know, maybe you're doing the non-mainstream sports, and then suddenly go, oh, this is my thing. I've got something special. It must be wonderful to see those changes in a person.
Yeah.
Is that something? Is there anyone who stands out in your mind? Like you mentioned this girl. Just to put you on the spot, I don't, you know, is there anyone who stands out for you that had that was a big change as their personality?
Well, when I was volunteering for KMFM with Adam Dowling, we used to, I don't know, we used to get into schools and have a chat with people. If they would, I think there was one school was doing a bounce-a-thon or something like that, raising money on trampolines. Yeah. And we came across this young slip of a girl who was a good swimmer. Anyway, we followed her, and her name was Sam Chamberlain. Morning, Sam, if you're listening now. Eventually, we spoke to her when she was, if you like, a slip of a girl, and she's saying, yeah, my ambition is to swim the channel. Anyway, when the interview was over, Adam and I thought, oh, she'd never be able to swim the channel. But she proved us wrong. We followed her for many a year, and eventually she did, the goals were set, and off they went. And she swam the channel, and I went down to meet her off the boat when she'd done the challenge, and she came back to England. All the family were down there. It was just tears everywhere. It was a great story. It really was. Yeah. Someone else's ambition had been proven, and we were there to broadcast it and tell everybody. It was great. Yeah,
definitely. So we've heard about kind of what it is that inspires and motivates you to give back. But you mentioned people who are like, you know, being the secretary of a local club for years, or wash the kit every single week. Yeah. What is it that you think? Why do they give back so much?
Obviously, they've got this drive in them that it's what, if you like, they were destined to do. You know, perhaps wash the kit. It's perhaps they can't do anything else sporty, but sports clubs are not just all about 90 minutes on the pitch. There's so much goes on behind any sports club. You know, apart from finances, there's the enthusiasm, there's the encouragement, there's the training on a Tuesday night when it's pouring of rain. You know, the trainer turns up, only half his team turn up. You know, it's the people like that do need that pat on the back, and that encouragement keeps them going. You don't want them to pack up. You want to say to them, you know, I know it's pouring every Tuesday when you take training, but you know that's what you do best. And you perhaps don't realise it, but you're the heart and soul of this club. People at clubs need people like that with the drive, and that's why that person that washes the kit, you know, is just as important as the person that is training the boys. And they deserve a mention.
Absolutely. I guess, is it that wider benefits of sport beyond the physical activity?
Oh, exactly.
Community, being part of a team, everything. Okay, good stuff. Right. And can you tell us now about the Sportsferret journey? How did that name come about?
Oh, right.
How did you end up getting into it? Did you have ambitions to do that?
No, I didn't actually. I'd always liked looking. If I buy a local paper, I start at the back and work my way forwards. Read the sport first. I was volunteering with KMFM and a chap called Adam Dowling, who'd just taken over from a guy called Johnny Lewis. And I used to go running with Johnny when the KMFM studios were in Folkestone. He used to do a show and we used to go for a run. Johnny then moved over to a Thanet studio, and this gentleman called Adam Dowling came in. And so Adam was great in the studio, but wasn't particularly confident about going out in front of a crowd, which a lot of radio presenters do find difficult at times. So anyway, he said, we want someone do some sport for us. So I said, well, I'll have a go at that.
Yeah.
So he said, well, we've got to think of a name for you. So he said, what about the sports monkey? I said, absolutely no chance, So I said, I don't know what it's going to be. I said, but just leave it and let's see how it goes, And during that week, I was at home. My partner Sue popped round, and I said to her, just off in normal conversation, I'm just going to have a ferret around in the back room. There's something down there I'm looking for. And then it came to me, Sportsferret. Oh, right. So I went to see Adam, and I said, what do you think of this name, Sportsferret? Oh, they loved it, absolutely loved it. The Sportsferret was born, and they gave me a little slot on the radio. And then eventually, one thing and another, joined Academy FM, we both did, and I was offered this little spot, the Sportsferret show. It started for half an hour, and then they said, there's so much material out there. We turned it into an hour. Yeah. And then I've got to thank Academy FM, because after a few little teething problems, they virtually let me run the show totally, from producing, sourcing the guests, doing the interviews. We would then take pictures of people pretending they were DJs, and I'd record the show, splice out a lot of the music, record the interview itself, give a copy to the guest on a disc, put it onto YouTube so we could share it with all their friends, all their mums. We had people phoning in from France, from Australia, to the Sportsferret show. It was a fantastic journey, and I've really got to thank Academy FM for letting me do that, have my very own Sportsferret show. Yeah. And if I say to people, that don't know anything about it, I said, I used to have my Sportsferret show. They just fall about laughing. I think, what's that all about? Nice. But yeah, it's a name that sticks, and I've been to places. I say, I'm the Sportsferret. Do you know what? I've heard of that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's the sign of a good name.
Yeah.
It sticks. And did you have experience or ambitions to get to that, or it came up? It was one of those opportunities that you went, I'll give that a go.
No, everything when it comes to the media and my commentary I've never had an ambition to do it. It's just evolved right from those days from Race for Life 18 years ago now. I've been asked to do stuff, asked to do a little bit more. Do a lot of quizmaster type work. All the London rejects that are out there, I expect you'll be on the phone soon. Kev, can you do us a quiz? Raising money for charity. Yeah. It's all evolved really. I've never really had an ambition to be a sports presenter, but it just happened. It was a long journey, but I'm glad I made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you find it? Does it feel like it was I don't know, when you're up on stage, when you're Sportsferret, is it like an alter ego, do you think, or is it like that part of you that you didn't kind of maybe know you had, or was it always in
No, I think you're probably right. That where you said it's part of me that I didn't know I had. Yeah. When let's take Maidstone for example. Pretty muddy a day at Maidstone. There might be 5,000 or 6,000 people at Moat Park, and I'm the one that has to get up on stage and keep them interested. And I'm backstage. I'm really, really nervous, and I have to flick a switch and become somebody else. And the first 10 minutes, I'm stumbling over my words, but then it starts to flow, and it all evens out, and I do become that person that's kind of hidden inside me. Because anyone will tell you, off the stage, I'm quite a quiet, reserved sort of person. But once I'm on stage, people, I've just got a rapport that I didn't know I had. It was that inner me. Yeah. That's a great way of describing me, actually. Yeah, well done to you. Yeah.
Awesome. No, I really like that, because we obviously earlier on we were talking about the parallels of how sport can bring stuff out and things inside and give you that extra level of confidence. And I love that that's been mirrored in kind of you giving back, but you kind of finding that part.
Oh, definitely, yeah, you're right. You've probably summed up my character better than anybody has done for many a time. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's been absolutely wonderful chatting, but we want to finish with some big shout-outs and thank yous. There is so many people you've worked with who've been involved. I want to give you this time to kind of say anyone you want to say thank you, or to big up, or shout out, and also how people can get involved and come along to kind of any future races.
Yeah. Well, my big big shout out really has got to go to Sue, my partner. She's enthusiastic in running. She comes to nearly all the events I go to, and it's nice to know that I can say, oh, I can't make visit to your mum's on Sunday. I've got a race to do, and she understands.
Yeah.
You know. So big thank you to Sue. Thank you so much for being there at the races and encouraging me. Sue, thank you. When it comes to the races, I've got to thank people like Sarah Jane Winding, who's a cancer research event organiser. I love working with Sarah Jane. She helps me through the Race for Life, so I support her. I want to thank Sarah Gower. She does the other side of the Man on the Run. There is an event called Man on the Run, which is totally for the male gender, and she's very supportive in that, and I love helping her out. Chantel Rashbrook, what a superb role model Chantel is. Chantel initially ran a Race for Life for a friend of hers that had breast cancer. She then developed breast cancer, and she developed secondary breast cancer. But now she runs an event called the Cliff Top Challenge, which is a massive event. This year alone, it raised £38,000 for breast cancer now. She's got so much enthusiasm. She's an example of giving back, you know, of what she's been through. And I'd like to thank the Academy FM really for giving me the chance to have the Sportsferret show, which I do really miss. But it was very time consuming. I was full-time work. Weekends were becoming a problem. But I do really miss that. And the numerous event organisers, I think every event organiser that organises a sporting event wants a pat on the back, because nowadays there is so much. It's not just about turning up. There's things like risk assessments, road closures, insurances. There is so much to do, you know, and you've got to check with councils, permissions and stuff like that. Yeah. So event organisers, I thank you for giving me the chance to perform on the stage after you've done all the hard work.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Kevin, it's been absolutely awesome hearing your journey, and looking forward to seeing and hearing you at all the other races.
It's coming up to Christmas.
Yeah.
There'll be. I have never compared the Santa Run, but I've run in it a few times. Yeah, I'm that one in the red, you know. But yeah, Santa Runs are great fun, guys. If you want to take part in a Santa Run, they'll be coming up soon. There's some runs coming up over Betts Hanger. I'll be going over there. Christmas cracker runs. I think I'm off to Southend actually to compare a run over there, Christmas cracker type run. So yeah, have a great Christmas, and don't let the sport pass you by when it comes to January. Keep out there and keep going all year round. Liu, I want to thank you for inviting me and returning the favour. When you came into Academy FM, you inspired me really to keep my enthusiasm going. I didn't know there was 100 sports. We nearly spoke about all of them that day, but it was a bit of a job. So I want to thank you for returning the favour.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.